India is undergoing a digital transformation led by steeply growing numbers of broadband connections, internet usage, data consumption, and more. With a focus on 5G technology, digitization will be faster, deeper, and farthest. Let's invite Randeep Sekhon, CTO, Bharti Airtel, and Danish Khan, Assistant Editor, ETTelecom.com, for a fireside chat on digital transformation and Indian telcos. Over to you, gentlemen.
Hello and welcome to the Digital Telco Summit. We have Mr. Randeep Sekhon, who is CTO of Bharti Airtel, and the topic of this discussion is digital transformation of a telecom operator. And under this session, I'm going to ask several questions on how Airtel is transforming itself with the help of new technologies and its strategy to become a digital telco. So, Mr. Sekhon, my introduction is my first question. How Airtel is transforming itself into a true digital telecom operator in the country? What are those things that the company has taken so far?
So, good evening to all. The digital telco, let's define what is digital telco. I think digital telco has two elements. One is inside facing and one is outside facing. Outside facing is how can a telco provide new services to its customers, which will be like what we introduced some time back, like voice over Wi-Fi, or in going forward could be 5G. And how can we introduce new technologies which will give customer a new service? It could be enterprise customer new services, or it could be retail customer using broadband, voice, and other services. One is internal. You see, telecom is also now become a legacy industry. I mean, it was very young industry some time back. Now in India itself, it is 25-year-old industry. So there are many things which were relevant in a 2G era or 3G era, but as you go to 4G and moving towards 5G, and you have most of your network elements coming to cloud, it is very important for the telco to convert itself also to a digital telco. So this is the vision what we have taken in Airtel. Digital telco is touching the way we operate our networks, the way we plan our networks, the way we run customer experience. We are obsessed with customer experience. So how can we provide customer experience to a customer in a best possible way? It is not possible if you don't use digital techniques, if you don't use artificial intelligence, if you don't use modern tools, if you don't use many machine learning algorithms, you don't use RPAs. So we have to put it all together to make sure we bring it all for one purpose, to give good customer experience and new services to customers.
So which are those key technologies which you would like to highlight to explain that if those technologies have really helped Bharti Airtel in terms of its journey towards digital transformation and being a digital telco in the country?
Let us take two examples. One example we will take of infrastructure, which is what we build. I mean, in that I like to call out cloud. Now, cloud is the method in which the application and the infrastructure are separate, and you can have a separate cloud provider and a separate application provider. Cloud allows you to grow capacity, scale in, scale out, move capacities laterally, and automate the whole thing of bringing up new services in a shorter time and error-free manner. Now, this all used to be done in a legacy, what we call as bare metal manner, by operators going behind and running some scripts on it. But moment you have a cloud atmosphere and you have an orchestrator on top, you really can give a more robust experience. And like when COVID happened, we had to shift capacities from, let's say, urban areas to suburban areas or rural areas. Bangalore capacities had to be shifted to rest of Karnataka. If you have all the infrastructure in cloud, this whole shifting is very easy. So I think cloud and the orchestration and the digitization we are doing around that is the area which is helping us a lot on infrastructure side. Let us talk about in experience side. We have put many tools which are measuring customer experience in a very granular manner and is also allowing us to know this is the area where the problem is happening. Can we do something? Can we self-heal? Because earlier problem used to give and somebody used to go and diagnose and then maybe do some intervention to fix it. But nowadays, from reactive to proactive to predictive to self-heal, this is the journey. We want eventually that system should diagnose a problem and pick some use case and self-heal it before consumer starts facing a degraded service. So this is what I can say as examples, what we are doing in Airtel to give a great experience to our customers.
What are your views on this OpenRAN technologies? A lot of global telcos are now saying that they are willing to adopt. US government is putting a lot of weight behind it. Rakuten, for instance, has also done that. In India, Jio and Vodafone Idea have also talked about OpenRAN, and rather Vodafone Idea has said that they are deploying OpenRAN. What are your views on how important OpenRAN is going to be in India for Indian telecom operators?
You see, we must understand what OpenRAN is. OpenRAN is again something what I was explaining in cloud, where the hardware and application are separate. Core part of the networks have been already open. You can buy applications and buy cloud for somebody. You can buy a cloud from HP hardware and maybe IBM Red Hat, the way we use it, a cloud from them, and bring an application from, let's say, Nokia for our IMS. So this is already open because you can buy anything from anybody and put it together as one service. RAN was one technology where hardware, for example, the radio, and the software which run on the radio was to be bought from the same supplier. That's how it has been happening so far. If Ericsson is supplying you radio, it is also supplying you software. Same is Nokia, same are other this thing. Open RAN is the step where RAN is now becoming also open, where you can get a hardware made by somebody and you can put a software on it which will work on a universal hardware. This is a technology which is started to, started with vRAN. And if we talk about vRAN, Airtel has already deployed vRAN using LTO Star software and Circum's hardware on our small cells. So small cell hardware was made by somebody else, software was made by LTO Star. We put it together and put automation on top of it. It is already working and serving our customers. So Open RAN is now standardizing the things how it is so that anybody can make a hardware and anybody's software can be written on it. So this, I think, everybody will adopt going forward because it opens up the possibilities of efficiencies. You can always say, let me give you an example. Suppose one feature is less in one RAN provider. There will be something called RIC in Open RAN, which will allow any third-party feature to be integrated using APIs. So I think this will be an ecosystem which is developing and is still very nascent. Once it becomes mature, you'll find every supplier will adopt it. And the early movers like LTO Star, Mavenir, Parallel Wireless, they are already doing this, and there are many operators who want to try it. Like cloud, we use in our first cloud, Airtel bought the cloud hardware, software, Vim, VNF, everybody from one player. But now we buy everything separately. I think this will same happen with RAN. It is just a method, or I think it's just a measure of time when it will happen. So in one way, Airtel does support Open RAN because it gives us possibilities of new innovation.
So when we talk about this digital transformation, adoption of newer technology, how these technologies are going to help Bharti Airtel in the 5G landscape when Bharti Airtel prepares for commercially launching the service, how these technologies, the adoption, the preparations are going to help the telecom operator in India?
So first of all, 5G is an ecosystem. A lot of people confuse 5G with only being a RAN technology. But if you see by itself, 5G will not be fully functional if it doesn't have new core. So there will be a new core in 5G. If it doesn't have a transport network which supports slicing so that you can do then those industrial use cases. It doesn't have a transport network to support that kind of latency. So it's an ecosystem which is needed. And for that, all these automation and digitization is also needed because it will be even more complex. If we have X connected users in 4G world, will be probably 10X because the smart home, smart city, connected car, everything would be connected and they will probably use 5G as one of the technologies to stay connected. So in that light, automation of whole thing to be orchestrated would be needed, and every domain of network need to be more automatic, more zero touch, more self heal, because it will not be possible. So Airtel in that light is working a lot on our core and transport domain to see how we can bring this automation in time. When 5G becomes a commercial reality in India, we should be able to hit the ground running and be ready with that kind of use cases. On tool side, customer experience side, also we are investing in tools which are very easily portable to 5G. Similarly, the investments we make on infrastructure side, all are 5G ready. We just will have to do commercial 5G licensing when we come to that.
when we talk about 5G and the upgradation of networks, I'm sure there must be some challenges in the whole process. So which are those key 3 or 4 challenges that you foresee in the journey towards 5G in India?
Okay, so I think the first challenge would be on the infrastructure side itself. I mean, so in that infrastructure, when I mean, if you see our towers around, there are some ground-based poles, there are some towers on rooftops. 5G will need another antenna. And mostly, if you read the world, 5G is being deployed in massive MIMO, 32 receive massive MIMO panel, not really a 4x4 or 8x8. So that means 5G will come as a AAU, what is antenna integrated unit, which will be antenna and a radio together, which means you need another space in all the towers. So that's another one challenge which will come, especially for ground-based poles kind of installation, where you don't have already space for your different frequency channels, and here there'll be one more antenna which will be required. But I think that will happen. Second would be a robust transport network, because 5G will need backhaul, which will be much larger than the backhaul a 4G site needs because of the sheer spectrum 5G brings in. So I think that backhaul readiness is what Airtel is doing, which all other telcos are also doing. With that has to be made ready. It is not ready yet in that shape. So there are some frequencies, E-band and V-band radios, which government has not permitted yet, will have to be permitted because they are key to backhaul 5G kind of volumes. Then there will be, I would say, use cases, because 5G will be huge investments. While we are very public about the spectrum pricing, but there are investments in CapEx, which will be a very huge investment. And CapEx will be not just radio, would be core, transport, everyone. In that light, the business case of 5G will stand if there is B2C use cases and there is B2B use cases. So I think the B2B use cases is something, another challenge, because it is not like a service. It's not like a broadband. You can go buy, put it the SIM in your phone and start using. B2B use cases will have to be built bespoke to industry. Even if the industry is same, let's talk about manufacturing industry. But doesn't mean that Maruti and Hyundai or Toyota both have factories in India making cars in India, but their automation level would be different. So when they want to make a smart factory, they will need a different kind of use case. So there will be a need of a SI partner, connectivity partner, manufacturing partner in that case, who will create this use case, which will then help. So I think India will need ecosystem to build these kind of industrial use cases, because that's the main vision. If we take our Prime Minister's vision of 5 trillion economy, this will not come from one industry or one sector. It will come from all India enterprise coming together. And I think these kind of coming together will unlock the efficiencies and bring up things which can be the vision and the journey for digital India and a 5 trillion economy.
So a decade back, when we still have 2G networks. So in the 2G scenario, we had one killer application or probably two, like call a ring back tone kind of a use case. So in 5G, which are those killer applications you think India may have once 5G is commercially available? One obviously is the higher data speeds, but are there some applications that are going to be the main applications on the 5G ecosystem?
So let us talk about B2B use cases. In India's aspiration of becoming an industrial hub of Asia and be a top exporter and take advantage of these industries who want to shift into India, I think Industrial 4.0 revolution is needed. For that, I think 5G would be one, you can say, one killer connectivity option, which will be available to them if they want to make smart factories, if they want to make automated factories, because the factories of future will run 24/7, will run with minimum workers, will run with all the robots doing the thing. In that light, I think the robust connectivity would be very key. I think 5G will find use cases where the latency requirement is low and the concurrency requirement is high. So there will be private 5G networks which will be set up for whether it is a logistics company who want to run a 24/7 dark warehouses, or it is a manufacturing company who needs robots to manufacture. I think this will really play a big role.
Sure, sure. So you also mentioned the role of fiber, and you also talked about how we need to connect everyone. Even the situation is not that great in urban areas. So for fiber, how big the focus is of Airtel in India right now? and how fiber could play a complementary role in the 5G landscape in India. So how has the journey been so far, and how do you want to go forward with this?
5G is very much dependent on fiberization because as we talk about that, the backhaul requirement will be too much and you can't do it on traditional microwave. So Airtel has been focused on fiber all through, and that's the reason you see we are able to carry a lot of traffic without any glitch. Even on the COVID, when the traffic hit 20-30% increase in one day without plan, we could still backhaul everything purely because our fiber strategy is very much in place. But we have also realized that we'll need to put fiber to connect more towers, especially when we will need them to backhaul 5G. So especially urban areas again, where our connected fiber ratio, tower ratio is already good, and we are increasing it further. But I must call it out here that it will not be done just purely by fiber. It will need a backhaul technology like E-band and V-band to backhaul that to the nearest fiber hub, because as we know, you can't fiberize 100% towers. It is practically and reliability. Sometimes the fibers get cut, you'll need a alternate method. So I think it will be a combination of microwave or wireless backhaul and fiber, and Airtel is very much planned, and we have a roadmap over next like we cut it over like 3 years because fiber is a little long. What
Sure.
are our plans in each year?
Right, right. So in the recent annual report, Airtel talked about how it is partnering with cable operators to penetrate into rural markets or tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So is the strategy working out? Are you able to get more subscribers on the network?
So that is for home broadband subscribers, and that works out very well because you see, it is again saving of national resource. The cable operator already has put a fiber cable inside the home of his customer, which is now probably taking a cable TV, which is backhaul on fiber. So if we can just ride on the same, take another pair and put a fat box and give, you find that it is a win-win for both. It's a business for Airtel and it's a business for the cable operator. So we have launched many towns using this combination, and I think it is fantastic because it is generating local entrepreneurship. It is how India is, Airtel is supporting Indian entrepreneurs, because sometimes these cable operators are very young entrepreneurs who have put an investment and are managing their customers. This gives them a chance to increase their business and also be our partner. So I think this is a really, really good model. It is helping us reach out faster. It's working very well. I can't give the numbers, but I can tell you the town launch is very fast because fiber is already there. And we are already having fiberized base stations there. So you just have to draw the internet from there and distribute. And then the customer service is also great because the person already knows that customer and he can, you can say service him in case he or she needs something.
Sure, sure. In the next 12 to 15 months, which are the focus areas for you as the CTO of the company? So when we talk about, because obviously there are multiple areas, but which are those three key areas of your focus in the next 12 to 15 months?
I think my top focus, if you ask me, first of all, my North Pole is only one, which is customer experience. So I have to give the best customer experience to my customer, and customers' demand are increasing. As we know, we did not know customer will need so much of online teaching or online work from home. So we are now focused on giving him that indoor, suburban or rural coverage where he can seamlessly, a student can take his classes, because as we all know, I have my kid also. I mean, their classes are very important. So making sure it is a robust connectivity, but that's just an example. So great customer experience is my mission. In that, what do I need to do? My first target, if I see in priority, is this automation and digitization, because I know manually how much we try, we cannot fix it. There will be errors, and more so, you need more training on new things. So if you don't automate, you will really be always in a catch-up game. So automation is the first one. Second is getting this network future ready, taking out legacy. Sometime back, Airtel removed its 3G networks to make it simple 4G, 2G networks, so that we are able to use that spectrum for 4G and give great experience. And that actually spectrum helped us during COVID when FD spectrum could really give us good indoor penetration. So simplifying of network architecture, doing away with certain things which were legacy and make it really flat is my next, and get ready for the next generation future network. Last is, how can we introduce new services to our customers? Be it a retail customer for mobile, retail customer for enterprise customer, or home broadband customer. How we can improve his home coverage through mesh solutions. How we can give him a better low latency kind of a service in case he's running an application from there. So really, future ready services, network future ready, and digitization and automation. These are my three priorities.
Right. Any last comments on the Indian telecom industry, or any learnings that you as a telco would want to take from the global market? Anything?
No, I think my view is that Indian telecom industry has come out as in many parts of the world. I have spoken to many telco CTOs in some forums like this, where we all call that the importance of telecom in the self-reliant, what we call as Atmanirbhar of the country, is very key role. It is the glue in which the whole economy moves, and the whole, you can say, whole system moves. Today, our bureaucracy, our enforcements, our healthcare workers all use us to stay connected and deliver the services they want to deliver. So from that perspective, I would say telco's role is very important. Reliable service is very important. And I think telco should partner, in Indian telco should partner with Government of India in creating a digital India, in creating a Atmanirbhar India, to make sure we consume so much we manufacture. Our two partners, Ericsson and Nokia, they make in India. They have factories here. All material they give us in radio and core and transport is made here. And they have promised to us that 5G also will be made here, which means in some way, telcos are also contributing to the economy of the country by consuming something which is made here. And I think this is what I feel telcos can do a lot, and they should step up and contribute along with Government of India in creating the India of future.
I think we can conclude on this particular Atmanirbhar note. We hope that the industry grows along with its partner, and we are able to achieve the true self-reliant vision of the country. And I think on that note, we can conclude this. Thank you, Randeep. Thank you very much for this session.
Thank you, Danish.
Thank you, gentlemen, for putting valid points and great discussion.